I'm going to work through the problems on the Unit 1 assessment review, so you can use this at home to go back over anything that you might need more time with in order to prep for the test. First thing that we're going to do on number 1 is add 8x to both sides. I'm going to try to avoid negative coefficients on the x. I'm going to be left with negative 53 equals 12x plus 103. I have my calculator next to me. I'm going to subtract 103 from both sides. So negative 53 minus 103 is going to leave us with, well, we'll see here. There we go. Negative 156 minus 103 minus 103. So negative 156 equals 12x. I'm going to divide by 12 on both sides and find out that x is negative 13. You can always plug your answer back in for x into the problem and check your solution. Sorry, I'll try to keep this more on track here. Number 2, I'm going to first distribute negative 8 through the problem. Negative 8 times negative 6x is going to give me a positive 48x. Negative 8 times 15 is going to leave me with minus 120. And that's equal to 120. I'm going to start the process of undoing by adding 120 to both sides. So 48x is equal to 240. And if I divide both sides by 48, I'm going to find out that x is 5. Again, on your test, it's probably a good idea to go back and plug that value in for x and check that you're correct. Number 3, before I start, I'm going to switch to working in red. I need to distribute this negative 4 throughout. So negative 105 equals 5x minus negative 4 times 4x is going to give me 16x. Minus negative 4 times negative 4 is going to give me plus 16. I'm going to combine like terms here on the right hand side. I have negative 105 equals 5x minus 16x is going to leave me with negative 11x plus 16. Now I start undoing. Negative 105 minus 16 is going to leave me with negative 121 equals negative 11x. When I divide both sides by negative 11, I'm going to find out that x is, there goes a cap, that x is positive 11. Moving on to number 4. For problem number 4, the first thing that I need to do is subtract 3 from both sides. I need to get that out of there so I can deal with x divided by 3 equals 14. What number divided by 3 is 14? I'm going to undo that divide by 3 by multiplying both sides by 3. X is then going to be equal to 14 times 3 is going to give me 42. Moving on to our literal equation solving. In our literal equation solving, we have specific variables that we have been told to solve for. So it's the undoing process like we are using for our equations, except it's all with variables. Remember, a literal equation is an equation that has more than one variable. If I need to solve for h, I need to get rid of the L times W that's there. So I'm going to divide everything by LW. They'll cancel out on the right-hand side. H is going to be V over LW. Pretty straightforward in that one. A single step of dividing by 2 factors. In number 6, I need to solve for y. This is our standard form for a linear equation. Let's put it into a y equals. If I need to solve for y, I'm going to first take away a times x. So I'll be left with by equals c minus 8x. I can't do any better than that because c and ax are not like terms. I'm going to divide both sides by b, which means everything on the right has to be divided by b. And I'm going to express this just as c minus ax all over b. Fair enough. I could break it down into parts c over b minus ax over b, but that's not necessary because I have all the unknowns. I might as well leave them in a group. Number 7, in order to solve for s, the first thing that I want to do is multiply both sides by n. Get that out of the denominator. Capital D times n is then equal to c minus s. I put the d out front because it's alphabetical, and it was capitalized. I need to solve it for s, so you know what? Since I'm subtracting s, I'm just going to move this over. because I want S to be positive. So S plus DN equals C. I'm just moving things around the way I can with algebraic equations. Just as long as I do the same thing to both sides, I have no problem. Now I can just divide that D times N factor and wind up with S equals C minus DN. Now if you went about this a little bit different way, you should still get down to S equals C minus DN. Last but not least, on page 1, and I think I'm going to have to do these page by page for our videos, I'm going to solve for little r. The very first thing is I want to get this capital C that's multiplied by that whole quantity that includes r out of there. R over C equals 1 plus little r. And to finish this one up, just a single step of let's take away 1. R over C minus 1, best I can do, equals r. There's our page 1. I'll put up another video and go further.